Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see the Bitcoin chart? And how's everyone doing? Evil Rabbit, hello. Evil Gemini, good morning. Giovanni, Olaf, Justin, Adil. Good to hear, man. So, everyone holding up well? Ugly ass price action today. Not today, sorry. Yesterday. Yeah, it sucks. I know, man. I know. Nothing to do about it. Just survive is the mission now, right? Until things get better again. We're not moving a lot. So yeah, maybe take some time off. I'll try to give you the cleanest plans, for me at least, what I'm planning on doing with this price action and what my plans are. And then we'll see. We'll also answer some questions, do some requests if you want. Although not a lot of charts are looking that good at the moment, but we'll see. Save us. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Constantly bull posting for that buy liquidity, but it's not working, man. I'm joking. Do you have copy trading? Nope. Never imagined it could get worse. Man, it can always get worse. That's lesson number 1 in crypto. It can always get worse. What are you gonna do if the markets tank to 70k? Let alone 60k. Not saying I expect that for clarity, but always be ready for anything. Short it? Maybe. I'm 60% in USDT, but it hurts when you get backlash of your portfolio all-time high. Ah man, I'm way less in USDT. I'm out selling all my investments. Damn, man. Time to bounce, I guess. I expect a push for today. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. I could see a little bit lower, but I don't think we really break down here. I'll explain why. Don't spam in the chat, please, or I'll have to mute you. Hey, I recently watched your Trading the Range explanation video and I was wondering if you're planning to do more explanation content. Well, basically most of the things, if not everything that I use is basically covered in that video, so I mean there's not a lot more to cover except maybe risk management or mentality or stuff like that. Maybe one time in the future, we'll see. Selling because can't handle any pain anymore. All right, it's 2:02, so let's get started. Starting with the usuals by saying thanks to Blowfin for sponsoring. We have a special campaign here running where you can trade on Blowfin using my link, and it's quite simple. When you deposit for the first time, you can get a 10% cashback on your first time deposit, up to $1,000 futures bonus, which is not withdrawable, by the way. It's just to trade with. But if you deposit and you start trading and you get some volume, you can also get rewards up to the equivalent of a Rolex, so $9,400. Those will be deposited into your account after the campaign, and those rewards will be withdrawable. All right. Also, if you use my link, make a deposit and start trading there, you get free access to my Discord group, where I post all of my trades live, do a weekly live stream for members only, so it's a little bit more personal, and yeah, where I answer questions and do some requests, post more analysis and stuff like that. So if you want to check it out, the link is in the description. Big thanks to Blowfin for sponsoring. I'm still a little bit ill from the weekend, but we'll try our best. If you enjoy the stream, also leave a like. We have 70 people, so let's get it to 30 likes at least, and subscribe, right? That helps me to grow on YouTube. That's really much appreciated. Now, Bitcoin. Let's start off on a clean chart, actually. Clear these high time frame. I guess we can keep that range. So we'll start off with Bitcoin as usual, right? So we were trading in this 90 to 108k range, right? Broke down, and as what I've talked about before is usually when you get a breakdown of a range and prices won't lower, right? You're not gonna get a perfect retest of supply or gonna get a perfect retest of former support before breaking lower, okay? What you usually get then when prices do want aggressively lower, I'll say, price just runs away from it. Right? Not a lot of consolidation, just keeps on going down. In this case, we broke down, but prices held fairly well, and we were creeping up to this retest up here, which in my opinion was the start of, I'll say, the most bullish thing that could happen after the breakdown, right? So that was your weekly retest. If you zoom in on the daily, sorry, you could argue that this was a weekly retest, but why I'm not picking this one? Two reasons. First one, if you check it on the weekly, it closed back inside the range. So you can argue, was that first breakdown right here a breakdown, right? Because the weekly closed back inside the range. And secondly, if you see this move as the retest, as the weekly retest at least, and you're gonna zoom in on the weekly, you're gonna see that it just disappears, right? Because it's a higher time frame. So then this would be considered as a breakdown, and this would be considered as a retest. All right. So yesterday things were looking pretty damn good. Why? Because, like I said, usually when things are bearish, you don't get those perfect retests. If this was the breakdown and this was the retest, in my opinion, we should have seen price continue to drop lower from here. Okay, so from here was, in my opinion, the ideal price range, right? For bears to continue to push lower and to send prices lower. And what did we get instead? we got a big bounce. It was from an area that I marked out in the last stream as well. But things were looking really bullish as we were bouncing. Up here I said I could see higher prices from there towards this liquidity buildup, right? We did that, but then yesterday, yeah, during the Trump speaking, things got really messy. We got rejected pretty damn hard, smashed all the way back down again, closed ugly, and now things are still sort of consolidating here. So the plans for yesterday, for me at least, what I wanted to see was at first for bullish continuation, a daily close above these highs. If we would have seen a daily close above these highs, that would have been the first step into retesting this resistance, and at that point likely that at some point at least we would see a breakthrough and a close back in there, and on the weekly that would mean a reclaim on the weekly, and at that point retests would have been for buying, targeting at least range mean right into these highs up here and supply into 102, 104k. Okay, so that's what I wanted to see yesterday. At first the daily was looking very juicy, was looking very strong, so I just held on to my longs. I had my first TPs on longs sitting right above this liquidity, unfortunately right above this high, and as you can see those TPs got front run by, yeah, like a hair. It's unfortunate, but it's part of trading. I just held on to longs, right, because didn't see a huge rejection yet, and yeah, the Trump thing was still ongoing, so I could have still seen us rip from there, but unfortunately it got stopped out at the wick down here, and now we're here. Okay, so right now things aren't looking that good in my opinion for the reasons that I just explained, right? We front ran the most obvious key resistance, and while yesterday in my opinion if bulls had a chance to break us higher above here and above here potentially, the same way goes around that I think bears have a very good time to break us lower from here. If we want to get a breakdown, in my opinion, it should be from here. If we get something like this and we sweep the lows and start bouncing, or start bouncing from here, right, and we invalidate this downside once again, yeah, at that point the draw on liquidity is gonna be back towards these highs at that point, right, because a lot of liquidity got taken on this move already. A lot of people will have shorted here, a lot of people, so if we get back above here, those people might want to get out of their positions as soon as possible, or just get forced to close, resulting in more buying power, which could send us back above 90k and potentially a lot higher. But until then, right, I would be cautious, and I think we could see prices run lower. Now, while I am saying that currently prices do look bearish, right, what I do want to say is things are still very close to looking super bullish again. And what I mean by that is, if we take a look at where the closest resistance at the moment is, I'd say this level right here. On the daily it was clean, swept, then went for the highs again, swept those highs, rejected, retest, right, attempted a breakout but failed again and smashed lower, right? So what does that mean? If prices manage to reclaim this area and we close a daily candle above 85k, which is still fairly close to where we're at currently, at that point things could really turn around quickly, and we could start seeing acceptance back above here, which send us, like I said, towards those 88k highs, at which point I could see us go a lot higher. Okay, that was a lot of talking. Is that clear for everyone? Do you agree? Do you disagree? So that's also the reason why I'm not shorting here, as I personally, yeah, don't feel comfortable shorting with the situation that we have right now. So I'd rather just sit flat. I am fully allocated to spot, by the way. Well, not fully, but I bought the dip right here at like 81k. And I'm still holding those. Not planning on selling again. I'm just gonna hold. If we see 72k, 70k, so be it. I will be able to buy some more. Not as much as I bought at 81. But I do think that if you're targeting, I don't know what, 150k, 200k, 250k in the future, it doesn't matter if you buy at 81, 70 or 65k, right? It's not worth risking missing the dip for me. Rather than selling here, right, and targeting lower. So that's the reason why I'm just holding spot and just being a little bit more careful on margin. So I'm still holding all my spots, sitting flat here. But as I said, if we start finding acceptance back above here and we start once again pushing for this resistance up here, I think we break above and see fireworks all the way into 100k. That's just a short summary of what I am watching right now. Either downside from here or a quick reclaim, and then I think we rip a lot higher. So if we reclaim, I'll be looking for longs again on margin as well, targeting all the way up here. If not, I'll just sit flat, and I'll be looking to buy the dip a lot lower, around 72k to start with. But once again, it would also make sense, as I said, not retesting this resistance from the underside. It would also make sense not retesting this support from the top side. You get that? So maybe we do something like this on the lower time frames, right? Where's the closest liquidity resting right now? On the 4 hour, I would say towards these highs up here and towards these lows down here. Those are are gonna be your high probability setups. If you do this and you get acceptance back below, could be going for the lows again. But in my opinion, the higher probability play would be to look for a dip below here, a reclaim, and then start reclaiming those key levels right here. Actually, that almost lines up with the mid-range of this range. Remember that weekly level? See how these almost line up, and now it's pivotal. If you draw it from back here. Pivotal, 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 very pivotal, pivotal. So maybe sweep, take that liquidity. Everyone thinks that we're going to everyone right now thinks that we're going a lot lower, right? Sentiment is ultra bearish, and it's normal after a rejection like this. But for me, it would make a lot of sense to get a quick dip below here, reclaim, and then start reclaiming some more levels here, and to just leave everyone behind and send it back above 90k towards 100k's and further. We're really at a point where it's looking so bad, but it's looking so close. Like, how do I say it? The point where things are looking very good again is very close. So be careful with just max shorting, in my opinion. So yeah, if we do this from here lower, I might buy the dip, try buying the dip on margin here, and see the reaction. If we get a good reaction and reclaim this, I'm holding. If we continue to dip lower or we close down here on the daily, yeah, at that point I'd be targeting here into 74Ks. If that doesn't happen, I'm personally waiting for a reclaim above here and just some strength on the lower time frames in order to target these highs, and at that point hopefully a daily close above here and then a lot higher. If we go lower, do you see the 76K area hold? If we go lower, like I said, if we break down here, I would say the best thing you can do is just buy spot on dips. Average in, buy some more. As we go lower on margin, it's very difficult, right? Because there's arguments for everything. I don't like just blindly buying the dip. I'd rather wait for some low, right, to get swept and see into a key area, into some key levels, so that you have a clean invalidation below there, a good risk reward, and a high probability setup, rather than just buying into something that does this. And yes, it could sweep maybe in here and do some sort of a 3 tap, 1, 2, 3, well, here in this case, maybe, we'll see. I believe that dips are gonna be short-lived, as they have been. Like in this range, look at how ugly price action was, right? This could have been seen as a breakdown as well. This for sure, this as well. Oh, we broke down once again, and look at this. Like ugly retest. It's going lower and then price just flies above, retests this and just takes off. And that's what I mean with things can look bad but can be very close to looking good again. I'm in for a sweep lower but can't predict the future. No one can, man. Draw a trend line on the daily and you see it's still under, only a week above. Yeah, man, I don't believe in trend lines. And you know why? Because I'll draw your trend line. You mean this one? And so what you're saying is that price needs to keep going lower for price to hold this trend line, right? But as time goes by, it's just gonna break above while it doesn't have any significance on the horizontals. So yeah, it's still below, but it's insignificant to me. You can use it as a pivot, that's true, but can you talk about reclaims? We can use SFP, but on low time frames sometimes we don't get market structure break. Even if we don't get entries. Yeah, that's the reason why I like entering on the sweep and not on the reclaim. Or I just mark it in if I like what I'm seeing and I have a close invalidation or close enough to have a good risk reward. In this case, for example, I'd rather enter here on the sweep and look for a reaction than to wait for this, get back above here and enter here. Because then I can just long it here, my stop at new lows. As things close below here or right? You're seeing some ranging and price keeps dipping lower. You can take your loss before a full stop out. If it gets a full stop out, so be it. And then once it smashes back above, because you're very often gonna get a very good reaction from price points like this, where there is a lot of liquidity resting below, right? Those reactions you get from there can be very explosive, which then means you're instantly up 1R. And take it from there. For me this week just shows where the market want to go, like a test. So yes, we rejected the trend line on the daily, but with the sentiment, as he said, we will see sooner or later a break above. It is close to making a decision. Yes, but that's the thing I'm saying. As time goes by, it's gonna get closer to that trend line. So it's normal it gets closer to making a decision. That's why I like horizontals more. Because horizontal levels can go on for years, right? While trend lines will break at some point. I mean, yeah. It makes sense, right? So that's my plan for Bitcoin. At the moment, just in spot and waiting for more clarity. But I would actually buy. The more I look at it, the more I think any dip below here is a buy. Into here. Sentiment is way too bearish for us to break down from here. I can understand that, but for example, yesterday I was looking for a short in 12-hour supply, but I didn't get any low time frame confirmation. Yeah, it's about the context, you know. If you believe in your plan and you wait for price to come to you, then you can take it, right? I'm not waiting for any confirmation when price dips into this blue area as well. My plan is just that the sweep in here, together with the sentiment being that we're going to fucking zero, and demand lining up, and these equal lows getting swept, and probably on high block a lot of liquidation levels, or on the heat maps a lot of liquidations resting right here. That's for me enough to just blindly buy here with stops below here. And those clean highs up here, I don't know. Bitcoin held up pretty good with the S&P dumping to new lows as well, in my opinion. But yeah, it doesn't have to mean anything. Oof. Holy shit. Gold and silver taking a dump as well. Let's see. All right, any more questions or? Otherwise, feel free to post some tickers in the chat and we'll take a look at some charts. XRP. Yeah, not looking ideal, in my opinion. Looking weak as we come into range lows once again. The range you're trading in on the weekly is in between $3 and $2 actually. And as you can see, range lows have been tested quite a lot. Here if you count this, and this, and the more these levels get tested, the more likely you'll see a breakdown. Also, whenever price runs up fast, be careful for price running down fast again. So for me, not worth it. Where would I flip bullish again? Well, probably at the moment on a reclaim of somewhere around here, because that's the lower low, right? There, retest. So either price goes lower from here, or if you see a weekly reclaim above here, then I'd buy the retest and target new highs. That's just lower time frames, but yeah, really not liking the look of this. Some sort of high sweep, retest, maybe lower, I don't know. But I definitely wouldn't be buying into the 6th or 7th retest of range lows. Hype. Also just a dying coin, honestly. What's a chart with more? Yeah, I wouldn't buy into this, right? You don't want to buy into something that looks like this, in my opinion, especially if you have a launch like this, and then price starts bleeding in it. What you then want to wait for at least is a sweep, a reclaim. And yes, now I'm saying wait for a reclaim, but that has reason, because you're not sweeping into anything, right? There's nothing here. While in other cases, there's demand resting, clean lows, maybe, I don't know, a weekly open, a monthly open, stuff like that. But price action from the past, which is going to be acting as support right here, is just a dying ship making lower lows and lower highs. So no interest in buying this. You holding hype? Nope. I'm holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, sadly, Binance Coin, BNB, and Litecoin, and Solana, some, and some doggy, and that's it. I wanna watch Bitcoin here. Anyways, next one, ETH. Let's see, where's my big ETH chart? There it is. So the thing on Ethereum was the look on the weekly wasn't clean. We didn't sweep any lows. I was swing long. I'm not sure if I still have it. Yes, in this one, but I closed it at half an hour loss, because in my opinion we need another sweep here into range lows on the weekly, and at that point I could see more chance of rounding it back. But I'd be careful buying the dip, and yeah, it's been the weakest asset of them all. So I'd rather focus on Bitcoin personally. But what I could see here on Ethereum, let's move over on the daily. You can see this lower time frame, well, daily demand resting right here, lining up with weekly range low, or monthly even, yeah, monthly range low, clean lows resting right above that area. So what I could see here is one more quick sweep and then buyback, and at least maybe towards there. So even for a spot play on, that's like 20-30%, I think it's worth betting on something like that. But yeah, if you want to wait for more confirmation, I'd say wait for a reclaim of like 2.8k. Let's see, monthly, maybe 2.4k, which has been acting as support here, resistance here. So wait for something like this, a smash back above here, monthly close above 2.4k, and at that point I think we send it back to 3k at least, and then we'll have to see reclaim of that, then we can start talking about higher. But before that, like, there's a long way to go. But yeah, low time frame, I like the plan of sweeping these lows once more. Something like this could line up with Bitcoin doing this, and then Ethereum slipping through the lows and dumping hard, wicking lower, right? If Bitcoin capitulating, putting another wick in, and then finally seeing some upside again. That would make sense. Chainlink. I remember this range, one of the cleanest and like most confident trades I did was buying into this range and looking for a breakout on spot. Anyways, yeah, not looking good either. Came all the way back to the highs, swept the highs. These. What was the area we started pumping from? This area right here, but it already got retested here, and we saw no continuation to the upside, no strength at all. So yeah, not looking good. I could see this go for all of these lows. And at that point, what's this? Yeah, that was the area where we bounced on. As long as we close monthlies above here, I could see us ranging, right? Between like $18 and $11.12. But as it's looking right now, and we close below here, I think we fill in all of these lows in here. What I'd be looking for higher targets would be strength above this area. Look at how pivotal it's been, right? Resistance, support, resistance, resistance. Here, flip into support, then smash back below, resistance. So if we close a monthly above here, buy the retest, sell higher. But yeah, still a lot of work to do on all of these charts, right? So it's mostly lower time frames that are good for trading these days. And if I can give you one piece of advice, it's take profit And don't hold for all-time highs because you're not gonna get them. Can you also talk about Kaito trade you closed and your thoughts? Sure. I closed it before this, right? Where was it? Closed it somewhere here. Why? Because so I thought that this was the sweep, right? This was the reclaim. Then we set up this range, and what I wanted to see from this range, right, was a sweep, as I explained earlier, a sweep and a reclaim. And what did we get? Ugly close below, multiple 4-hour closes, retest, further consolidation, and then just slowly bleeding lower. And I'm not exactly sure where I closed it. Was somewhere around here. But you know, if you have an ID and the ID is to sweep this liquidity and see a strong reaction and you don't get it, yeah, then I just get out. Then the plan is invalidated. And as you can see, then that's what happened. So let's see where we're at right now. A lot lower. Holy shit, it seems. I think I can remove all of these. Yeah, I wouldn't buy into this. Like, it keeps on nuking, so maybe this one as well. Sweep below here, reclaim, something like that. But yeah, it's not worth it to trade this, in my opinion. What's the bullish take? You have weekly market structure breaks. You have the majority of the top 100 coins making new all-time lows. Why are you calling? When are you calling for the bear markets? I never said I was bullish here. I am flat, right? I'm just holding spots, and I think holding spot for Bitcoin is always gonna be a good idea. I bought extra spots before the Trump election here at like high 60, low 70Ks, and I sold it up here. And we drew it to the bank, so that's enough. And the rest of my spot I'm just adding on dips and holding for way higher. And I don't care if we go for 70K, for 50K again, I'll continue to hold until higher. Like, it depends in what position you're at as well, you know. Like, if I was all in crypto, I wouldn't be all in Bitcoin right here, obviously. Because if it dips hard, or all in altcoins, for sure not. But if you're in a position where you're not all into crypto and you have like more than enough money on the side and you're diversified into multiple things, then why wouldn't I be more aggressive with my crypto portfolio? You know? Does that make sense? Would you mind checking curve? Yes, sir. Curve is actually, yeah, on the weekly. Not really. But yeah, one of the better looking ones, I would say. This key range, right? Range low, range high. Quick sweep, ugly price action, huge reclaim, right? Weekly, came back into this level, made a low to the tick, it seems. Oh. Let's go on the daily. Made a low there, bounced, Yeah, towards here. It's an equal high, so it doesn't really matter, but I'll take this one, right? That's your new range. Let's mark that out like this. Okay, came back. So from there, bounced, retraced, came back to the lows, swept the lows, right? Reclaim, and then broke market structure, retest again of the area we started pumping from. And now, in my opinion, is looking one of the better ones. I'm not saying it's looking good. Yeah, because it swept the highs, you see. Still some inefficiency right here. But looking okay. Let's see. Yeah. Should have gone from where it was trading yesterday though. Like if this was your bearish sweep, dump, retest. Now this just looks like the retest of supply that's gonna send us back to the lows. So actually, never mind. I would, if you want to buy this, I'd either wait for a sweep of these lows into this huge range low monthly level, or a break above here. 4-hour close, buy the retest, or wait for some consolidation, low time frame sweep, and then go from there. But here local draw is to these lows in my opinion. Oh, there's news coming out. I didn't know that. Let's see. Right, Sui. Gonna do a couple more and then I'll hop off because I want to watch Bitcoin, honestly. I'm also in a few hours going to Portugal for like a little over a week. But don't worry, I'll have time to post some charts in the meantime. Might even upload a market review for the Discord while I'm there, but I don't think there will be a live stream next week. So yeah, let's see what is this doing. Oof. Yeah, rough, man. I mean, if you just look at this on a naked chart, like you can already see the structure is pure shit, you know? Nothing is screaming bullishness about this. So down there, in my opinion. News already came out, right? What would hurt more people, you think? Dropping from here, like on trading, right? Dropping from here straight to 72k, or a sweep and a big bounce? I feel like the sweep and the bounce. I feel like more people are expecting a lot lower. But hey, can always be wrong. And I'm flat, as I said, so that's also the thing. always have multiple scenarios in trading. Be ready for A, be ready for B, but that doesn't mean you have to trade all of them. Like, even if I'm saying like we could sweep this and then reclaim and then run from there, doesn't mean I have to trade it if I don't 100% like it. All right. No more requests I see. So I'm gonna hop off. I want to watch Bitcoin here, and I have some things to do. So thanks for joining, everyone. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Use my Blowfin link. There will be a lot of advantages, especially in the future. We'll also do giveaways in the Discord and stuff. You can get some juicy rewards. Leave a like on the live stream, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.